Well, the wait is long over. On Friday, the U.S. government released a much anticipated report on everything it knows about UFOs or UAPs.
If you notice, the very first line in the report is, "This is a preliminary report," which is indicative of the fact that hopefully there will be other reports forthcoming.
What we're seeing are objects descending from 80,000 feet or above, dropping down to sea level in less than a second and a half.
Right. You feel like the government isn't telling us everything, and that this report that came out from the Pentagon on Friday you feel it's still holding back?
Because we've seen these things, they've been recorded not only in our atmosphere, but there is data to suggest that they have also been tracked by some of our capabilities underwater as well.
Essentially, this 9-page report leaves out a whole bunch of stuff that we already know about the UFO issue. Things like Roswell and Area 51 and alleged abductions and all kinds of dozens of reports that have been reported over the years in the public arena.
So the report all but says what is obvious to anyone who thinks about this, which is these are not from a foreign military.
This is something that could involve outer space, inner space, or frankly, the space in between.
So then the question is, are these other prosaic things, are these adversarial foreign nations? I'll tell you, people involved, everybody involved, the ones that generated this report, nobody believes that. They don't believe it because the evidence doesn't show that it's some sort of terrestrial technology that we know of.
There were 144 cases that were analyzed from 2004 through the present time, 2021. Of those 144 cases, 143 remain unidentified.
For thousands of years, people have reported seeing strange lights and objects flying through the skies. The first known mention is from 440 BCE in ancient Egypt, when the scribes of Pharaoh Thutmose III reported fiery discs floating in the sky.
They're not clouds, they're not birds, these are physical objects. Some of them don't move around at all, but it's remarkable in that they just sit there up 30,000 feet or so off the East Coast, right near a naval air station. They sit there in high winds and don't move, even though they've got no known propulsion system.
Whatever they are,
there's a whole fleet of them.
They seem to defy the rules of physics, hovering in the wind, stopping instantly, and moving extremely fast at hypersonic speeds.
No sonic booms. They stop on a dime.
There's no wings, there's no propellers, there's no jet engine, there's no exhaust. How would you control the direction? How would you navigate? How is this thing propelled? It's incredible. It's bizarre.
11 of those cases involved near mid-air collisions by military pilots. The U.S. Air Force, which hasn't said much of anything since the whole UFO flap really heated up 3.5 years ago, has agreed to, and I guess they already started it last November, setting up in essentially UFO monitoring stations. It's not really disclosure, it's one step toward disclosure.
Those initial videos were leaked. The Navy then sort of had to release them because they were generating so much attention.
They have 142 sightings. We know there have been more than that. But it's something that, as far as I'm concerned, this is a preliminary report.
We're talking about highly trained military pilots flying some of the most sophisticated sensor packages that have ever existed.
This is the long-awaited report here.
You know, it's not just the U.S. government that's actually looking into these reports. We do know that both the Chinese government and the Russian governments have similar programs, and they're looking into similar reports above their airspace as well.
Well, the U.S. government has released an eagerly awaited report on unidentified flying objects.
Anyone who's been paying attention would have known this report was never going to be a tell-all expose. There were two reports. One was a longer, classified version given only to Congress.
And you know, reports like this have a long history. The United States first started looking into reports of UFOs actively as far back as 1952, if I'm not mistaken, with Project Blue Books.
In the last several decades, despite speculation in social media, the report does not suggest aliens might be behind the sightings, but it does say that identifying the objects or phenomena may be beyond the existing means of the American military.
We're seeing stuff up here that we have no explanation for. We don't know what it is.
What it is sort of a form of confirmation that we actually have a legitimate mystery in here. This report essentially makes the case that we need a permanent, ongoing study. And if we're ever going to figure this out, we've got to assign it to someone, establish a framework for that, make it easier for our military members to report it, and then provide some money to dig into it and figure it out.
Our United States government is saying UFOs are real. We don't know where they come from. They are unidentified until identified, but we need to find out who's piloting them and what their intent is.